Seif Eldine ElGowakhy is asking, are you expecting that working from home will be more common and might be a way of reducing fixed costs, especially for regional roles? Obviously, yes. I believe that not just working from home, but the notion of shared spaces and shared offices and flexible offices and hot desks, and taking an office that would be of the capacity of 50% of the organization. So they could work from home, they could work from a cafe, they could, and then there are services out there that would give you access, like what you did, Mohammed, and said in Lebanon. There are certain of these services that would give you access to 6 or 7 different offices across the city, so people can go and work from whichever is closest to them. So I personally genuinely believe that the notion of one office per company is something that will change. Could be 15%, 5%, could be 80%. I have no idea. Does it have cost saving? Obviously, it has cost saving. As I told you, I have 2 big multinationals we're working with. They already announced this internally, so it's not yet externally announced. So I'm not at a freedom to share the names, but it's moving into 50% capacity shared offices around the world. So it is happening, but it still remains a choice.
One build on this, Tamer, first, it's clear that you're a true millennial because at the time I was in Beirut setting up these offices, these companies you're talking about did not exist. But okay. But yes, the idea is there. The point that I want to make is that what is going to be really important at the time of working from home is having the work ethic to put in the working hours and productivity Yasser was talking about. And I tell you a very short story that happened to me that I hope sends the message. So when I was young in the company, I used to think that going late to the office was a cool thing to do, right? And one day we had an early meeting and I showed up early for a change. And my boss was sitting there. He was an English gentleman. And he was drinking coffee. So I told him, Paul, it's the first time I see you drinking coffee in my life. What's going on? He said, I always drink coffee. I just drink it before you show up to work. So it was the first time and it hurt so much. It's like he was telling me indirectly that you just, because you come late. And I felt so small at that time. I felt, what is so cool about showing up work? And I think working from home also, I'm not saying, by the way, working from home, you have to start very early in the morning because some people work better early. But I mean, putting in the work that is required to get the job done and having the ethical standard that will do this, because that will make a huge difference on whether the whole idea of working from home will continue or not. Right?
I think you said it very well in the story you just said about the coffee. The fact that he was that indirect, yet it hurt you so much and made you feel so small, means you are the right caliber, the right character that would be trusted to work from home with higher productivity. So last time when we were on the live session, you, Muhammad, said that part of the positives is much higher efficiency. People are much more productive. They show up on time. The meetings are much more productive. People don't want to stay for long. So, and what I heard today from yesterday,
except the three of us.
Just because you've been doing it, that's all. So what Yasser is saying is, productivity is not always higher. So I think when you have the right culture and the right people, that you can depend on them working from wherever they are. So I already have some of my people. I have never asked them whether they went to the office or not, or when they do this or do that, because I know 100%, I trust 100% they're doing the right thing, and that's what I need from them. So it is a long journey, and it will take a lot of testing, obviously. Yes, sir, you want to comment?
Yeah, as it's an interesting example that Muhammad gave on early on in his career, and I early on in my career and until today, I have an idol who's my uncle Khali, my mother's brother. So when I started my first job, it was in Saudi Arabia, and he took me to Saudi Arabia, and I looked for a job, and I started in advertising. That was my first job. He told me one thing. He said, "There is one thing I want you to do until further notice. You will be the first one in the office and the last one to leave." And that's very important, shows commitment and so on and so forth. So I did not have the privilege, Ya Muhammad, to sleep a little bit more in the morning at that time. And this somehow stayed with me for a long time. Not that, khalas, that becomes part of the habit. What I want to just build on what you guys said about working from home and what Seif is asking about, particularly regional roles. By design, regional roles are more virtual than physical. By design, when you're managing multiple geographies and so on and so forth, yes, you visit, but how many times you're going to visit? So you over depend on. You have to have the right people, and you have to have the right level of delegation, the right level of trust between you and the team, and you connect virtually. And now, what I think about what we are living through and what would accelerate generally, because here I would like to say that in Nestle, at least we have moved quite heavily into virtual management of team and people. But I think this situation that we're living in today would create many opportunities for global regional roles while people stay in their market. So I just want to say lots of opportunities for different roles, bigger scopes, bigger impact, while you're still physically available where you are. So again, that's for Seif that yes, certainly, and more opportunities can come as well.
Not only the global and regional roles done location free, and you do it from your own country, but as well you are able to have a wider team to work with from around the world. So you're not limited to a certain level of capabilities or a culture or whatever.
Absolutely.